Hello and welcome to Lyon. My name is Aurélien and today we're going to play a set of games to get creative and improvise to a song. Let's get started. For this warm-up, we're going to start with gentle moves of our body. We start with the head, then go through the shoulders, the hips, and we'll add some stomps, and then we'll go through our jazz steps. Enjoy! Let's start with the head. And change. And change again. And change. And one last time. And the shoulders. And change. And sideways. And the hips, and change, and change, and one last time, and swivel, ha, ha. And pull out the lunge. And stay. And switch. Switch. And switch. And shimmy. So the first idea that I would like to share with you is that we are going to use one rhythm only to move around and dance throughout one music. So our rhythm will be ha, 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 ha. You can clap or sing it with me. 5, 6, 7, 8. If you need numbers, it's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, nothing on the 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. And now let's clap for 1, 8. And let's keep on clapping, but let's start moving around. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ha, 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 ha. And ha, 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 ha. And ha, 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 ha. And we're done. So we're gonna keep on using this rhythm. I'm gonna play one music and we are going to move around only with this rhythm. So I will be here and you can watch me if you need a reminder of the rhythm, but there is no specific step or direction that I will use. If you need cues, you will see that it's really hard to get detached from the camera or from the screen. So maybe you are in your living room or maybe you are in the dance studio as I am. You can point directions or you can look at directions to avoid being facing the screen or camera all the time. So for instance, I can move around. There's a clock over there. Maybe I want to go to the clock and I change my mind and I will go this way and maybe I will go to the left and so on and so forth. So just move around. Let's take half a song to dance together, get used to this rhythm, and then we'll explore that and see how we can spice it. Let's take our pulse. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. Ha, 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 and ha, 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 and 1, wap, 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 ha, and ha, 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 and wap, wap. Ha, 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 and wap, wap, ha, ha, ha. So maybe you enjoy this rhythm a lot, or maybe you are a bit bored because you are always dancing to the same rhythm. Let's spice it up. First thing first, we don't have to always step to embody the rhythm. Sometimes we can use snaps, or we can clap, or we can knee slap. For instance, I can do 1, 3, 5, just like in the Tranquility choreo, for instance. I can clap on 6 and on 7. I could clap on even beats as well, so 1, ha, 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 ha. So just this cue, you don't have to always step to embody the rhythm. That's our first challenge. Second challenge is, if you are really bored about the directions and if you feel you are swallowed by the screen, try to use the pieces of furniture or the room which is around you. You can't see that, but there's a clock here, there's a lamp behind me, there are speakers here, there are windows, so I can use that as cues to direct me. So let's dance the same tune once more. And let's just add these two cues. So use what you have around you. It can be people, it can be stuff, it can be whatever, it can be imaginary stuff also, to direct you. And try to use other body parts, hands, knees, head, to embody the rhythm. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I hope you are starting to enjoy this rhythm and the different ways of expressing and moving around with the rhythm. Maybe you are a beginner dancer and you don't have many steps that you know of the vocabulary, or maybe you are an experienced dancer and you know a lot of steps. And maybe you can recognize some steps in what I'm doing or what you are doing when you are moving around with this rhythm. Or maybe you are lacking some inspiration. Anyway, we're gonna add another game on top of what we are already doing. So now we're gonna start with one step. Maybe it's your favorite step. For instance, for me, it would be box step, but with the rhythm we are working on. So for instance, ha, ha, sha, ha, ha, wap, wap, sha, ha, ha, and ha, ha, wap, 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 and ha, ha, wap, wap, wap. And when I think that I'm done with the steps, I've done everything I could with the step, I will switch to another step. For instance, I can move from box steps to Suzy cues. Ha, ha, shoo, wah, ha, and ha, ha, shoo, wah, ha. And then when I'm done with the Suzy cues, maybe I will go to Shorty Georges, and so on and so forth. In this exercise, it will be easier if you stick to steps which work with the rhythm of walking. So for instance, Shorty Georges, wap, 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 wap. Suzy cues will work. We can have swivels as well. Wap, 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 wap. Or maybe we can have Tatianis. Shi, ha, woo, ha, woo, ha, woo. It will be easier to tweak the rhythm of the steps and to move from one step to the other. So let's play the same tune again. Let's take our bounce and then start with the step you want to start with, be your favorite step. And then when you're done with a step, switch and move to another step. Five, six, seven, eight, and 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. Ha, ha, sha, ha, ha, and what. 5, 6, 7, and 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. What we are doing here is that we are building a game. First rule, we always stick to the same rhythm. Second rule, we want to add directions in our dancing. Third rule, we go from one step to the other. So when we are bored with one step, maybe we switch to the other. Let's integrate our second and third rules. So let's integrate directions and jazz steps. So for instance, maybe I want to do rocks. 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. And maybe I want to switch directions as I am doing these rocks. So 1, 3, 5, 6, ha, for instance. Or maybe I want to do Suzy Q's. Ha, 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 ha. And now I have turned with my Suzy Q's. So I'm gonna play the same music for you, and we stick to the same rhythm, moving from one step to the other when we are done with the step we are dancing. In this step, try to integrate switches and directions. You can still use cues from your surroundings, or you can just imagine, hey, what happened if I was standing while I'm doing Suzy Q's? What would happen if I was just going backwards with fish tape, for instance? So I hope these games help you to feel creative. Now I want to draw your attention to one thing. Probably there are some parts of your improv that you like. For instance, I really like the turn and the Suzy Q's. Or I really like this small thing, ha, ha, sha, ha, ha, in taquianes. So I invite you to register these beats that you like and to keep them. So feel free to repeat them for as long as you want. Feel free to tweak them. For instance, in the last dance, I was playing around with Suzy Q's and then I decided to move with my arms, so you can play with that. And as you do that, maybe you've heard that for now we are dancing to a chorus. So there's an intro in the music. By the way, the music is called Miss New Orleans, and it's played by another band from Lyon, which is called the Holy Bounce Orchestra. So there's an intro. It's basically where we are introducing ourselves. It's where we are bouncing. And then we have the first A, a first theme, which is repeated for a second A. And then we have the B part, the bridge, which leads us to our third and last A for this chorus of 4 phrases. What I would like you to do is, maybe now you are getting used to this music. So maybe you can change the way you are moving or walking to mimic what's happening in the music. Maybe you can feel that there's a different atmosphere in the A and the B, and maybe you can do something different even though you are using the same stuff. So for instance, if I take fishtails, there are many ways to do fishtails. I can do them very staccato. Ha, 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 ha. I can use my hips a lot. Wow, wow. And you see that I'm not singing the same thing, or I'm not singing the same way. So this is what I'm asking you to do now. As you are dancing, register what feels good for you and keep it. And try to pay some attention to the music. And when you feel that the atmosphere is getting a bit different, try to show that to me even though I'm not here with you and I can't see it. So that's our intro. And our first A. Second A. And the B section. If the exercise is not clear for you, feel free to go back to the beginning of the music and dance it again. Just another set of cues, so try to think about the transitions between the steps that you liked. For me, for instance, as I was dancing the tacchianis and as I was dancing the fishtails, I was like, hey, why couldn't I stick them together? So for instance, 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. So I added the fishtails in between the steps of the tacchianis. So that's one thing I could do. So try to be like, hey, I like these transitions. And I like transiting from one step to another. Or maybe I like this direction. And try to keep it because it's a good way to coin your style and to coin your own vocabulary. And maybe one day you will improvise in front of an audience and you will have something to offer the audience. You won't be like, oh my God, blank page, I have no idea. No, because you have already improvised, so you are rich of all the exercises that you have done. Another thing that I advise you to film you, not to judge you, but to recognize the thing that you like. So if I watch this video in a couple of days, I will probably see the mistakes. I know that at some point, I was not actually really sticking to the rhythm. I know that at some point, my balance was a bit off. But there are also things that I liked. For instance, doing this Shorty George and staying here and then going back is something that I really enjoy. And it's, I think, a really nice point to identify the places that we enjoy so we can stick to them and we can reuse them when we are improvising or dancing to some other thing. I hope you hear the change in the atmosphere of the music between the A and the B, and I hope you can express that through your body. Now I want to make use of the structure of the music. So maybe you saw that I started with fishtails and then I switched to shorty Georges, if I'm right. And it was not at random, it was at the break, on the break. So I did fishtails for 3/8 because basically the 3 first 8s are really similar. And then there was some contrast on the 4th 8, and that's why I chose to do something different, which was shorty Georges. So let's re-improvise. Let's stick to this rule of I am dancing with one rhythm only, so I don't have to think about this rhythm. And I am moving from one step to another. And let's say that sometimes we try to switch steps when we hear the break. So I will help you, I will shout out break for you, so you can know when to switch. So intro again. Ha. First A and ha, ha. Last 8 before the break and break. Ha, ha. Wah, wah. Last 8 before the break. And the D-pad. Ha. And the break. And the break, ha, ha. So now you see that we have the same rhythm all the time, but we are adapting this rhythm, the way we dance this rhythm, to the music we are actually dancing to. One thing we really want to avoid is dancing the same way to every music, and dancing the same way to every part of the music. So for instance, for me, I try to think about the feelings that I'm feeling during the A and the B section. There's, to me, something more mellow to the B part, and I want to use my hips a bit more, and I want to make my steps linger, and I try to use that as I'm doing. The other thing, even though I have just said that we want to have some type of variety to our dancing, is that do not fear to repeat parts. If you listen to this music, but it's true of basically all swing music, we like them because they are somewhat predictable. So there are repetitions in the music. So for instance, we know that there's an intro, there's an A part, I recognize the melody, then it will come back for the second A. Then we'll have something different, the B part. Then we'll come back to the A part. And it's nice to feel like home, to enjoy this melody that I can recognize and I can enjoy. And it's nice, I think, to do that in our dancing as well. So it's okay to repeat steps, it's okay to repeat things that you enjoy. Nobody will be bored by watching at you and being like, oh, she or he has done so many fishtails, for instance. It's okay. You are never bored by music being like, oh, the musicians, they have played the A part 3 times, they are so lazy. No, they're not lazy. It's just the way that swing music is built, and it's because it was a music which was built in relationship to dancing, and this structure clearly helps us to dance. So now I want to add a last element. So if you listen to this music, you can hear that during the break, the rhythm that the rhythmical section use changes a bit. So I would like you to do something like that in your dancing. So maybe you have 3/8 of the rhythm we've used, ha, ha, wap, 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 and then you switch for the 4th rhythm. For instance, maybe I will do nothing, ha, 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 and wap, ha, 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 ha. Just bouncing. It's like a little pose where I'm just bouncing to keep my rhythm, but I'm not doing anything. And maybe I will do that and mess around, for instance. Or maybe I will add some rhythm. For instance, instead of doing wap, 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 I will do wap, bada, ha. For instance, just to create some contrast. Because basically the break is here to announce the ending of the phrase and to create some contrast. So we've created contrasts between the step. Now let's try to add some contrast in our rhythm. If you need help in creating this contrast, you can think that groove walks, so basically what we are doing on the 1st and 3rd counts, are equivalent to triple steps. So I could do 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. I could also do 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7. When I say equivalent, I mean that you will end up on the same foot. Steps are equivalent, for instance, to kickball changes. So instead of doing wap, wap, shoo, shoo, ha, I could do wap, wap, shoo, padu, ha. And I will end up on my right foot again. Let's just play music, the same one, so we are getting used to it. And let's start with our basic rhythm, wap, wap, ha, ha, ha. And when the break comes, you have the choice to remove some parts of the rhythm or to add some extra sounds and extra rhythms. Last 8, ha, ha, and break. Last 8. I hope it makes sense for you. So now I'm gonna play this music one last time, and let's say you are discovering this music and you want to play a game, to improvise, and you want your improv to make some sense to you to this music. So let's say we want to use the rhythm we worked with, ha, ha, wap, wap, wap. And sometimes we want to create some contrast in this rhythm. Maybe it will be when the music changes. For instance, during the break, or it can be on the 3rd 8. Maybe you've heard that in this music, the 3rd 8 is somewhat different to the first 2 8s. You can also use this rhythm as the base for your steps. And you can move from one step to another while keeping the same rhythm. To make your improv more enjoyable for you and more visually appealing for the audience, you can use different body parts to play with the rhythm. Claps, slaps, snaps, for instance, and you can use your surroundings to direct you and help you move around, not to stay so focused on the screen or the camera. And I think that's about it. just one thing. I know it's easy to say, but try to enjoy yourself. And for me, one thing that even though sometimes, or oftentimes I should say, I mess up, there are also times when it feels good. And I'm like, oh, my rhythm is okay, and I like this transition, and stick to this feeling. Linger here, repeat what feels good for you, and then it will grow into some time of habit for you. And when you are improvising, as I said, you will have some type of vocabulary which will be built for you and which you'll be able to use. And that's it for now. Let's play the music and let's enjoy ourselves. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy yourself and I hope you get some tools and some games to help you as you are improvising. If you have comments, questions, if you practice this, I'll be happy to watch you, send me videos, or just comment on the video and tell me how it feels. See you soon.